This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl. It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment rights. Welcome to 2 full hours of Gun Owners Radio. Your hosts Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz will teach you about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your rights to keep and bear arms. Visit gunownersradio.com with questions to learn how to become a sponsor of Gun Owners Radio and get involved. Together, we will win. Now here's your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome. This is Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
The segment is sponsored by John Dillon and Dillon Law Group. And do you have legal matters that involve anything gun-related? Well, then you need to call our attorney, John Dillon. Whether it's a red flag law, gun registration question, gun transportation question, or maybe you aren't sure that your gun comply with California law, well, you need to call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon is right here in Carlsbad and specializes in California gun laws. Give him a call at 760-642-7150, or you can visit his website at DillonLawGP.com. And folks, welcome back Joe Germisi. He has been a world traveler out shooting anything and everything.
That's right. Went to America for a week out at gun site.
Commonly known as Arizona. And then, of course, the infamous Michael Schwartz.
The infamous. Yeah, I have a really cool guest for you, Dave.
Who do you got, bud?
I have Ashley, are you there?
I am here, Mr. Mike. How are you?
Good, Ashley. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
So everybody has heard of our very cool program that San Diego County Gun Owners has called, we call it #NotMeSD,
right,
which is a program to help women, help educate, and provide resources for women who want to own a gun, they want to carry a gun for protection, and they want to make sure that they have the professional training to be successful to do all the above. And Ashley, you are a participant in NotMeSD, right?
I am. I'm a proud participant. I'm still a newbie, but I definitely have found my home, my new home within the gun community, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. And I really have Mr. Mike and Desi and everyone at San Diego County Gun Owners to thank for that.
I saw a video of you shooting. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, we went shooting yesterday. We did.
You were kicking butt. It was awesome.
I did all right yesterday.
So Mike has already said off air he's not going shooting with you because he hates being embarrassed.
Yeah, I don't like being embarrassed. You were out shooting everybody. And I'm like, geez. Another one that's better at me at shooting. So how did you find it? Now, my first memory is that you participated in a Zoom with us on how to get your CCW. How did you find San Diego County Gun Owners originally?
So actually, I first saw Mr. Mike on KUSI, and that kind of sparked my interest. And so I went, on social media and found you guys on Instagram. And then I saw a post about CCW seminar that y'all were having online.
Yeah. Participated
in that, got so much good information. And, I work as a mobile notary, and you guys were really helping me kind of direct me with my good cause statement and all of that info. And so that was pretty much the beginning of this awesome friendship and a relationship that I've gotten with you guys. And
it is an awesome friendship.
It is. It really is. And then Desi reached out and let me know about that ladies only shooting seminar that y'all were doing for with NotMeSD. And then that was, maybe a couple of months ago, I think, and got to meet everybody there. So many cool people. My original partner was Miss Gail, but then I got spoiled, and I had Mr. John helping me, Desi helping me, and I got to shoot this plethora of guns that everyone was just like, well, here, try this one, trying to just get me comfortable and being super helpful. And I had such a great time. And
now,
the rest of me is history.
Is there a particular, what was the catalyst for you being interested in a CCW or gun ownership? Was this something you grew up with, or is this something that happened a little bit later, or was there a particular incident or anything, or what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, my family is all from Texas originally, so we're a gun family. My dad served in the Navy, so it's kind of always been embedded there. And then as things have progressed, kind of shifting in California, my husband and I were talking about the need for it more and more, just to kind of, for self protection and things like that. And then I working as a notary, I actually did have a scare. I went in to do a signing, and as a notary, you don't know who you're going to be signing. You know, you have their paperwork, but you don't know who you're meeting. And it was very Silence of the Lambs-esque. I would say, like, super creepy. The guy, like, deadbolted and locked the door, pretty much locked me in and put the key back into his shirt pocket.
Oh, my God.
He had a chill up my back, and I was like, oh, no, this is so not what I need to do right now. Yeah, it was scary. And I mean, I got through it. It was, you know, he was kind of a weird guy. And I did the signing as quickly as I could. I almost ran out of there once he unlocked that door. But that was when I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not ever going into a stranger's home when I don't have a way to protect myself if something like this ever happens.
Well, I'm glad nothing happened. So you'd recommend any especially any woman out there who doesn't want to have to put the lotion back in the basket, that they should go check out #NotMeSD. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Well, Ashley, I'm so elated that you've become a part of San Diego County Gun Owners, and I love the fact that you're training with Desi. She's the best. And I just can't thank you enough. And you know, congratulations. And I know, so your next step is you're actually working on your CCW, right?
I am. I've submitted the application. I think my appointment isn't until September, but I'm hearing rumors that they're moving things a little quicker than what they're listing everything at. I picked up my Glock 26 last week. I broke that. So
I know, Joe, you have a Glock 26, right?
I do. That's what I started out with.
What do you? Any advice for Ashley and her Glock 26?
No, I love. I'm a Glock person, I guess, because I started just by accident with a Glock, and now I've got 3 of them. I carry a 19. Yeah. And the 26 is great. I shoot it really well. It's a nice, easy to shoot thing. How did you do with yours? Are you shooting it well?
At first it was a little snappy, and I was having some trouble with the slide. But I mean, everyone over at the Poway range and Desi herself is just so amazing, and they kind of helped me break the gun in a little bit yesterday. And so by the end of the shooting session, I felt a lot more comfortable, and I'm already looking at like 43s and things like that, because
good for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what's the next one?
And sometimes the bullet weight will help with the snappiness. Like if you were shooting 115 grain, which is pretty common at the ranges, it'll tend to be a little snappier than, say, the 124s are what I reload now. And then the defense loads, when if you use I use critical duty, and that's 135 grain, and the lighter loads tend to be a little bit snappier, or at least the lighter bullets. So that might be something that you notice if you try, play around with it a little bit.
Yeah, I did. I had to get my hands on whatever ammo I could get yesterday. I went over to
yeah, that's the problem now.
Yeah, exactly. So I just had to take what I could get. But my dad was the one that mentioned yesterday when I was telling him about it. He was just like, sometimes it's the ammo that, you need to just change up the ammo, and then you'll find that your gun shoots a little better. So.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you being a part of the program. And, everybody listening out there, if you're a member of San Diego County Gun Owners, this is a big part of the fantastic work that you're supporting. And Ashley here has resources, and she's become a member of the San Diego County Gun Owners family. I can't thank you enough, Ashley. Thank you so much for calling in, and good luck with everything. And you know what we're going to do is we'll invite you back on after you go through your first CCW appointment. You can tell everybody how it went. Okay?
Oh, I will. I'm happy to do it. Thank you, guys. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you. So that's Ashley. How awesome is that? Very awesome. Couple of things before we go to break here. Subscribe to our email list to win an Eclipse holster dump tray. We're actually extending the raffle from last week. So we started that raffle last week. We're extending it for at least another week. So if you go to gunownersradio.com and subscribe to our email list, you could win an Eclipse holster dump tray. Don't forget, too, that Cover Your ASP Week, ASP Week, is coming in March. Tickets go on sale on October 15th. And if you are a San Diego County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, or Orange County Gun Owners member, you can actually register early so you can beat the crowd. So check your email for the access code so that you can register for Cover Your ASP Week with John Correa. He's going to be out here in March, and there's a bunch of training and educational opportunities for a whole week. It's actually going to be very cool. Joe and I were talking about that and participating in some of the classes and seminars. And then take the listener survey on gunownersradio.com/survey. If you go to gunownersradio.com/survey, you could win a 511 Rush 24 backpack. The winner's going to be picked on November 15th. Thank you very much, Lucas and Brittany at the 511 in Mission Valley. And then don't forget, too, that this weekend coming up, we have a couple of San Diego County Gun Owners tabletops, gun shop tabletops, specifically Poway Weapons and Gear this Saturday, and then SoCal Gun Broker up in Ramona. Poway Weapons and Gear, obviously in Poway. Obviously. And then SoCal Gun Broker is in Ramona. It's in SoCal, 1130 D Street up in Ramona. Go check it out. Bring your friends. If you've been meaning to sign up, go to these gun shops. Check out the tabletops. Sign up with us and support the fantastic work we do, like making sure that Ashley can get a Glock 26.
Darn right. Thanks, Ashley, for calling in. We appreciate it. Maybe one of these days we'll get you in studio right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
There's more Gun Owners Radio with Dave, Joe, and Mike to come on The Answer San Diego. Welcome back to Gun Owners Radio, educating you on your Second Amendment right. Now, here are your hosts of Gun Owners Radio, Dave Stahl, Joe Dramisi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks, welcome back. You are listening to FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, what's the best defense for self-defense and those horrible new red flag laws? Firearms legal protection. Firearms Legal Protection is the legal defense program for lawful gun owners with a 24/7 emergency hotline. Let them provide the lawyer for you. Call Firearms Legal Protection today. That's Firearms Legal Protection at firearmslegal.com, or just call them straight up, 469-310-9100.
All right. Now we have a very cool guest from, by the way, that was a little Van Halen tribute to...
I was wondering if you were going to say anything.
I am.
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, I got to tell you, what an American treasure. I know it's a gun show, but...
What a guitarist.
Yeah, what an American treasure that guy is. Truly. I'm finding out that not a lot of people truly realize the impact he had on popular music and modern guitar. He really, truly was such an original and such a loss.
If you have Sirius XM, go to channel 25.
Yep.
It's the Eddie Van Halen.
Tracks. Their Deep Tracks channel is.
It is, and when you listen to that guy, rip a guitar. I mean, I just get goosebumps.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah. He really is. Truly was.
And you can tell too by what other musicians say about him, because the really big musicians, Steven Tyler and all those guys just talk about it.
Yeah. Goosebumps again.
Anyway, so we're going to be playing Van Halen on all our bumpers this whole.
You talked him into it?
I got him to do that. So
you only found two.
But before we do that. Dr. Piazza, the founder of Frontsight out in Nevada, which is a training school and resort and one of my favorite places to go, asked him to come on and talk about a couple of very specific things here. Dr. Piazza, are you there?
I am.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show again. We really appreciate you coming on. Asked you to be on to talk about, there's some legal action that they're looking to do against Frontsight to try to shut you down in Nevada.
Oh, please.
Can you talk? Give us some details about that, because it's very concerning that they would try to do that.
Sure. We had 900 students arriving for the September 4th through 7th weekend. We had opened on September 1. To give you a little bit of a backstory, I closed Frontsight voluntarily, even though I knew constitutionally I didn't have to. But I did it just to be a team player with this whole, COVID pandemic thing going on.
Perfect.
And I was very clear. I was very clear about it. I said, we'll do this. We'll close down to be, part of the plan. And we're going to open up on September 1 under our normal policies and procedures, because quite frankly, you cannot provide safe firearms training with your instructors maintaining, 6-foot social distancing. And you can't provide safe firearms training with people in masks because your glasses fog up for both the instructor and the student. And without being able to see properly, you're asking for, a tragedy to occur. So I was very clear about it. And we sent emails out to all of our students letting them know that this is how we were going to proceed. And about 2 or 3 days before 900 students were about to arrive, we received a letter from Deborah Strickland, who is the chairperson of the Nye County Commission. And now understand, the Nye County Commission just a few months earlier, a year earlier, it would have been November, December of 2019, made a big deal out of them declaring Nye County, the county in which Frontside operates in, a Second Amendment sanctuary. So the last people I thought I was going to get any issue from was the Nye County commissioners.
Jeez.
And they requested that, they basically sent us information and requested, more like demanded, that we comply with the governor's COVID restrictions. And we responded back with our attorney with a letter basically stating the reasons why, legally and constitutionally, we were not required to comply with these directives, meaning that the governor of Nevada cannot make restrictions against Second Amendment rights in the state of Nevada under any circumstances. And we asked the Nye County commissioners to stand with us against the governor. And they completely refused. They completely caved in. And now we refer to Deborah Strickland as the Sunshine Patriot, Deborah Strickland, because, it's real easy to stand up and beat your chest about Second Amendment sanctuary and Second Amendment rights when there's no risk,
right?
When there's no nobody breathing down your throat. So they completely abandoned us, and even worse than that, they then sent us a letter stating all the bad things that could happen to Frontside and to me if we continued to open our facility.
Wow.
Fines, arrest, you name it.
So when I said they, the they that want to shut you down, this is the county, Nye County, where Frontside is located, and it sounds like they're being instructed by the governor's office of Nevada.
No, that's the way it sounds, but in reality, they simply punted this issue to the governor, and he has an enforcement unit, the Nevada OSHA. Occupational Safety Hazard Administration, et cetera. They're the ones that a day later, after Nye County abandoned us and then sent a letter to the governor, the governor's office sent us a letter stating that we were in violation of holding an event with more than 50 people, not wearing masks, not completing the social distancing, and also, threatening us with fines and shutdowns, et cetera. So I really had a decision to make. I mean, we're 2 days away from 900 people from all across the country descending on Frontside to exercise their Second Amendment and First Amendment rights. And I knew it was risky. I knew it was dangerous for us to open. This could have been a situation where the Nevada State Police showed up in armored personnel carriers at the gate of Frontside. And gathered everybody up, arrested whoever they wanted to arrest, and sent everybody home. It could have been that big a deal. Fortunately, it was not. I got together with my legal counsel, and we filed a lawsuit a day before, I believe, that people were going to be arriving. So we had to work around the clock because we only had a few days' notice. Filed a lawsuit against the state of Nevada, and we ran our classes as we normally would. 900 people showed up. They all had a great time. It was all very safe.
Good.
And we've been open ever since, and we continue to remain open, and we'll continue to remain open because the law and the Constitution are clearly on our side. There's no question about it.
Well, and it sounds like still the Nye County, like you said, just kind of punted. And even though they had passed some kind of, hey, we're a sanctuary county, we're a Second Amendment sanctuary county, they still just kind of punted and kind of left you out to dry. Am I recapping that accurately? Absolutely.
Not only did they refer it, punting is kind of a misnomer. They referred it to the governor's office, and then they refused to stand with us in defense of our Second Amendment rights, even though they proclaimed Nye County a Second Amendment sanctuary. Yeah. And that's the thing that bothers me the most, because I consider myself a patriot. I consider myself one that would stand for the Constitution. And when you elect people in a county that makes a claim like that, and then the first chance they get to basically put their money where their mouth is, to stand for the principles that they espoused a year earlier, and they cave in. It just makes me sick. It honestly does, because that's not the way I would operate.
Yeah, honestly,
I proved it.
I'm not really a big fan of the sanctuary county or sanctuary city movement or whatever. And I've taken some criticism for that. People have, well, gee, Mike, it's Second Amendment and guns and, It's a lot of hot air, though. It really is just an opinion piece. It doesn't actually affect the law. I think people are under the impression that if you become a Second Amendment sanctuary county or city, that the state law or federal law no longer applies in that municipality, and it's just not true. Now, I understand it's a good PR thing. I understand that it's a good statement to make, but I think people put a little bit too much emphasis on that. And what really counts is the people that are elected, the people that are there right there on the county level, could have stood up for you and didn't. I mean, it was real easy for them to put out this opinion piece and say, hey, we're a Second Amendment sanctuary county. But then when the Second Amendment needed them, what'd they do? They referred it off to the governor. So I'm just not a big fan of that. It seems like the Second Amendment sanctuary stuff, it's a lot of, it's a lot of squeeze, not a lot of juice, especially if they're just simply not going to stand up when the time comes. And I'm sorry you had to go through that. So are you guys, what's the next step? Are you guys doing classes now, or what do you anticipate happening?
Yeah, we haven't skipped a beat. We continue to run our classes. Hundreds and hundreds of people have trained there since then, and hundreds and thousands will train more. We're getting right into our busy season now with, into October, November, pretty much the best weather months, along with probably late March, all of April, and early May. That's the best weather months out there, and we'll train upwards of 1,500 people in a given weekend class out at Front Site in the best weather months. Yeah. Where our capacity is 2,000. We've never hit the capacity, but I'm sure that at some point in the future we will.
And it never feels. By the way, I've been there on weekends where it's 1,000, 1,100. Never feels that way. You guys have a ton of room. You're so well organized. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like you're elbow to elbow with 900 other people. It's always so well run. We actually just announced one of our board members. He's since moved to Texas, but every year he does a charity shoot out at Front Site and get about 250 people out there. And we just announced the date for the first weekend of March. So we're going to be out there first weekend of March. But we're talking to Dr. Piazza, the founder of Front Site, and we're going to hold you over for the next segment. We're going to talk a little bit about some of your thoughts on some of the civil unrest and what it's done with Front Site and how you guys have reacted. So stay with us, and we'll talk to them right on the other side of the commercial.
All right, folks. This is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome back. Or should we just sit here and listen to this for a little?
Let's just listen to some Van Halen.
Yeah, baby. Rest in peace, my friend. So what's the best? I'll do this low so everybody can hear it. Hey, what's the best defense for self-defense in those horrible red flag laws? Firearms legal protection. Firearms legal protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun owners with a 24/7 emergency hotline. Let them provide the lawyer for you. Call Firearms Legal Protection today. That's Firearms Legal Protection at firearmslegal.com, or just call them direct at 469-310-9100. In fact, that's I think California assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Cali Key. Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR pattern rifle into a straight pull-bolt action rifle. So if it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas systems. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com.
All right, we're talking with Dr. Piazza, who's the founder of Front Sight. He's done a ton of interviews, and I'm sure this is the first time he's ever had Running with the Devil as intro music. So thank you for sticking with us for another segment. You know, I got to tell you, just real quick, and my first experience with Front Sight, you know, I found you guys online back in, like, I don't even know, 2004, way back. And it was one of those deals, to be honest, it looked too good to be true. And you guys, one of your testimonials, you had a bunch of testimonial videos. One of your testimonials just happened to be a colleague of my father that I recognized. And I thought, well, wow, okay, what a coincidence. Clearly this is legit. I got involved and went and took a shotgun class. A 4-day shotgun class was my first experience. And I was still kind of wondering, well, gee, it was so affordable. You know, I was kind of worried, like, well, what's going to happen? Am I going to have to come up with more money to, you know, when I get there or whatever? None of that. I had an extremely great and professional experience. And by day, like 3, I was walking around your property, you know, thinking to myself, well, how can I give this guy more money? Like, what can I buy here? You know, I had such a great experience. I just loved every minute of it. And I think what you guys are doing is absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you. We've built Front Sight on the universal law of reciprocity, and you hit it right on the head. After experiencing everything that we said you were going to experience and was absolutely true, you actually want to do more for us, and you do that by bringing your family and your friends and telling everybody you know about it, and giving such a great personal experience on this radio station. And if your listeners are not aware of it, they can actually take a free 4-day defensive handgun course by simply going to the link frontsight.com/gun owners radio, and they literally can secure a free 4-day defensive handgun course. It's a $2,000 value that they can use at any time in the future. And if for some reason they can't use it, they can transfer it to a family or friend who can come out and take the class. And the reason we do this is because our purpose at Front Sight is to positively change the image of gun ownership in our lifetimes by training responsible citizens to levels that far exceed law enforcement military standards. And once you come out and take this class, you will now be a walking, talking representative of safe and responsible and expertly trained gun ownership. And you will then want to take everything we offer, and you will want your family and your friends and your coworkers and your boss and everybody you know to experience the same thing. And that's how we've trained nearly 1 million people since we opened in 1996, and are growing at an amazing rate. And it's the purpose behind Front Sight. So please take advantage of the free course, and it'll be exactly as you've explained it. And then you'll be one of the Front Sight trained who will go out and spread the word in your community. And we call it planting a liberty tree. You basically go back to your community and you're the seedling, and through your referrals, we create a liberty tree right there in your community of super well-trained, responsible Second Amendment advocates who can handle handgun, shotgun, rifle, and even submachine gun to levels that far exceed military and law enforcement standards.
And for those who didn't write it down, it's frontsight.com/gun owners radio, and you get a 4-day handgun class for free. No catch, nothing you have to do other than go there and follow the instructions, and they'll give you a free 4-day class. Now, in the 30 years or so that I've been interested in guns and paying attention to the gun world, I've never seen... I've seen a few catalysts for people to get interested in gun ownership, like Katrina, Y2K, people got real interested in owning a gun. But I've never seen a catalyst like COVID and the BLM riots. I mean, people are just coming out of the woodwork and saying, okay, you know what? I haven't even thought about owning a gun before, and now I realize how necessary it is. First off, what are your thoughts, Dr. Piazza, on the civil unrest that's been happening since March?
Well, I think the Democrats have literally and figuratively shot themselves in the foot over their lack of response in decrying these riots. I don't think COVID created the gun rush as much as the riots. because people can see the writing on the wall. They can see, if for some reason the Democrats took control, that this is the direction that the United States would be heading in, and it's not pretty and it's not safe. So you have people that previously never thought they would ever need a gun. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from people.
Yeah.
Why do you need an AR-15? Nobody's ever going to need that. This is never going to happen in the country. They're not going to confiscate guns. There's not going to be civil unrest. They just don't believe it could ever happen here. And now on the nightly news, they're seeing that not only could it happen, it is happening. And now they're going out and getting guns. And what's interesting, too, is that people that have never tried to buy a gun, for example, here in California, have no idea how difficult it is. They've been hearing on the radio about, we need to close the gun show loopholes that are putting guns in the hands of people that don't do background checks. And they go and try to get a gun, and first they have to have the proper ID. What do you mean, my driver's license isn't good enough? No, you don't have the proper ID, so you need to bring us your birth certificate or a passport. Then they show up with that. They say, well, we also need to see a PG&E bill that shows the address that matches your driver's license or this or that. I've seen them in gun shops be turned away, and they can't believe it, and they're livid. And as they walk away, I look at them and I say, hey, don't blame the guy in the counter. Blame the people that voted the politicians in that passed all these laws.
Well,
you can see it finally catches on. They go, man, this isn't right.
This isn't right. Well, you don't. I don't. Out in Nevada, you guys don't have a 10-day wait period like we have to put up with here in California. Although now that I think you're a California resident, right?
Yeah. So I've lived with this for all my life, and I've seen the erosion of our gun rights, and I see the look on people's faces that previously never even thought about owning a gun when they try to get one and they can't. They wait in lines for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they finally get in and they can't buy a gun. And they're livid.
Yeah.
They can buy it. They can buy it. You just can't take it. Yeah. That's all.
Well, some of these gun shops, they won't even sell you the gun. They won't even let you look at the gun until you first done your first, you've shown them that you've got the proper documentation, and then secondly, that you've taken that written test, that shows that you're, have some idea about gun safety. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's worse. I mean, it's less taxing than a DMV written test. I mean, it's pretty much ridiculous. If you can't pass that test, you probably shouldn't own a gun because
it's so basic, so useless. Yeah. I wish I had $1 for every story I've heard about. Yeah. I've heard this over and over again from so many people. They go in to buy a gun from a dealer, and they go through the whole process and say, all right, come back in 10 days, you can have your gun. And they say, well, gee, can I pay more and take it now? No,
well, and
that's not how it works.
But the left, when the left goes in to buy a gun, they're the ones that they're most angry. And then I know a gun owner that just store owner, he goes, well, don't look at me. Who'd you vote for?
Yeah, really.
And then they really go out the door upset because they can't get a gun. And I mean, it's the politicians are doing one thing and the people are not aware of what they're doing until it's too late.
Well, and that takes us back to the importance of training. I mean, we have tens of thousands of people just in San Diego County, just in Orange County, and Riverside, brand new gun owners. There are literally millions across the country, and that brings us back to the importance of training. I go to Front Sight every single year. I take at least a 2-day, but usually a 4-day handgun. My wife now goes, I think this is going to be her 3rd year. She's determined to DG, Dr. Piazza. Determined to DG. I'll tell you, she is the most competitive person on the planet, and she isn't really overly into guns. That's not, it's not really a big hobby of hers.
It's the competition.
But the competition part, man, I got her out on the line, with 24 other people, and 25 people standing behind them, and it turned into a competition. She's got to be her best, and a lot of it's a competition against herself. But anyway. Dr. Piazza is generously offering everybody, one more time, just to let you know, frontsight.com/gunownersradio. If you go there, you get a free 4-day handgun course, which is normally $2,000. So you can get it for free, frontsight.com/gunownersradio.com. Can't thank you enough, Dr. Piazza, for everything you do. Any parting words, anything you'd like people to walk away remembering about Front Sight?
Well, the best thing that I can say to people is to tell them that our purpose is to positively change the image of gun ownership in our lifetimes by training you, the listener, to levels of expertise with firearms that far exceed law enforcement and military standards. And it's more important now than it's ever been, because we don't know what's going to happen on November 3rd. Hopefully, we continue on the path that we're on, and we continue to make America a more free country. But if it goes the opposite direction, quite frankly, anything can happen. Yeah. So we really need to be prepared.
Vote, vote, vote in person if you can.
Thank you very much, Dr. Piazza from Front Sight.
Yep.
Really appreciate you coming on and appreciate everything you've done. I can't wait to go visit your facility there in March.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. Call anytime.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You listen to Gun Owners Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome to Gun Owners Radio /
.com
Van Halen Show.
oh.
Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Hey, welcome firearms. Welcome the Firearms Policy Coalition to our family. Brand new sponsor. Firearms Policy Coalition is dedicated to restoring and protecting the Second Amendment, just like us. Firearms Policy Coalition works on the state and federal levels and have filed some of the most important Second Amendment lawsuits to date. Together, we are working on all levels to restore your gun owner's rights. That's why it's also important to support Firearms Policy Coalition. You can become a member at firearmspolicy.org. Firearmspolicy.org.
There you go. Van Halen's other Dave Stahl.
Yeah, I love that guy.
So our next guest is running for judge. Here come the judge, Mr. Paul Starita, who's running for judge here in the San Diego County. What seat are you running for, Paul?
I'm running for seat 30.
Seat 30. And tell us a little bit about that. What does that mean to people?
Well, the seat is just a number. There are about 134 judges in our county, so it's a county-wide race, and some judges retire and put their seat up. Essentially, it becomes open, and then folks can run for it. And so I made it through the primary, and that's what I'm doing. I'm running for an open seat. So
so what's your website?
It's StaritaForJudge.com. StaritaFor Judge.com.
So check out his website. Definitely do your homework. But I wanted to talk to Paul a little bit. I want to talk about your background. You have a background in you were a JAG officer, right?
Correct. I still am. I've been in the Marine Corps for 30 years. I have 2 more years before they kicked me out. I spent about 10, 11 years on active duty, and the last 20 or so in the Marine Corps Reserve. Wow, cool. So you're like the Kevin Bacon character in A Few Good Men, right? Yeah, pretty much. So it's funny. It came out when I was in law school, and so it got me really inspired and pumped up to hit the fleet, get in the courtroom, and I did. Got my first taste of trial as a young captain. Brand new in the fleet out at Marine Corps Base Hawaii, and I asked to go to North Carolina, and the Marine Corps sent me to Hawaii. That's kind of how my career has gone. So
that sounds horrible.
I got a story like that. We could talk about that.
Sounds horrible that they would force you to go to Hawaii like that.
Yeah, and he tried to go to Lejeune. That's the sad thing.
That is kind of weird.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my request.
What were you thinking?
So one thing I don't understand, and like the Marine Corps is a core of the Navy. I know that Marines get all upset when I say that, but they don't
know. We're part of the Department of the Navy. fine. I don't get upset.
Okay,
it's
good.
The fact.
So, do you guys? You guys don't have your own doctors. You use Navy doctors, and they can dress in a Marine uniform and everything. But do you guys have your own attorneys? Did you go in saying, "Hey, I'm a lawyer. I want to be, in the Marines JAG," or did you have to go through the Navy, or how did that work?
So I went straight into the Marine Corps, and I said, "Hey, I want to be a lawyer." And they said, "That's great, because we have judge advocates, and we work very closely with the Navy Judge Advocate General Corps, and we're separate, but we're all work together within the Department of the Navy. So you'll see crossover quite a bit. It's the Navy Marine Corps trial judiciary is where our criminal justice matters are heard. And for example, now I'm an appellate judge in the reserve on the Navy Marine Corps Court of Criminal Appeals. So our military justice apparatus is a joint apparatus between the Navy and the Marine Corps.
So in the Marine Corps, were you working as an attorney though? Were you actually defending and do you prosecute as well?
Prosecuted cases, defended cases. I've been a military trial judge. And it's interesting because a lot of people don't really appreciate the fact that the military justice system is a lot like the state and the federal criminal justice system. The rules of evidence are essentially exactly the same. The rules of procedure are the same. It's based on our Constitution. We have juries for cases. The same rules apply in picking juries. You go through the same procedures to get to a verdict. You sentence, Marines and sailors who are convicted get sentenced. So that sounds like
you got a ton of experience then.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so. And it's interesting because the San Diego County Bar Association, I feel very fortunate. They've evaluated me and gave me their highest rating, exceptionally qualified. So they looked at my entire body of work from the time I started as, a young lieutenant in the Marine Corps, all the way through my couple of years in private practice, my 17 years at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and then the work that I continue to do in the reserve. So, that was a good feeling. It was affirming to have, a nonpartisan organization, look at the 15 different factors that they consider and say, you are exceptionally qualified. You are the best qualified.
Well, and that's not the only nonpartisan organization that endorsed you. I just read that, correct me if I'm wrong, I hope I don't get this wrong. Weren't you just endorsed by the Union Tribune?
I was.
Yeah, that's amazing. Honestly, for a Marine Corps JAG officer, to get endorsed by the Union Tribune. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Union Tribune, but I'm not one of these guys that thinks they're this off the rails liberal whatever. But they definitely have a slant. I'm not a huge fan of them for a reason. But when they endorse folks to be a judge, they're looking at a whole different set of criteria than probably most people, or most kind of regular voters are looking at. They kind of look at. And I'm paraphrasing here, but they're kind of looking at someone who's professional, someone that's really qualified, according to their industry to do the job and do the job well. And they endorsed you over your opponent, who was a Democrat mayor for a local city. I got to tell you. It's amazing you pulled it off, because the Union Tribune, I would have thought on paper, that they would have endorsed the other guy, which just because, like I said, because of who they are, who the Union Tribune is and what they normally do, for them to endorse you is truly, you are overwhelmingly the right guy for the job. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but I
appreciate that. I think that they see that, the judge race is different, that we should truly be nonpartisan, and we should pick the most qualified candidate. We should put politics aside. Granted, anytime you run for an election, things get tribal. Everybody wants to suit up D or R. Yeah. But I think it's important here. The judiciary should be that quiet branch. They should be that separate branch. They should be qualified individuals who are going to do justice. And I think, the Union Tribune recognized that, and I'm honored to have it, and I'm glad they did.
So Paul, let me ask you this. Were you surprised that they endorsed you?
I was surprised at the beginning. They endorsed me in the primary for the primary, and so at that point, it's kind of wide open. There were 4 open seats. There were 11 people running for judge, and there were 4 in my seat, and I was surprised. And, but that was just for the primary. And then when it came to the general, I had hoped that they would follow suit and continue along that course. I was very glad and very excited to receive that endorsement the second time. But the first time, to be totally honest, yes, I was surprised.
You're a little surprised. Now, I just want to make
cool. That's pretty awesome.
Honestly,
county paper.
Well, that's the way you're supposed. That's the way they're supposed to do it. But the Union Tribune is under different ownership.
LA Times, yeah.
So, well, not even the LA Times so much. It's a privately owned individual that owns the papers, but he's a doctor, to be honest with you. So it's good to see. Maybe the ship is turning real slow, but it's turning.
Well, I'll tell you,
the folks I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say the folks I dealt with from the paper, they were great. The questions they asked, and that it seemed to be completely fair process, and I felt good about it. I didn't feel like any kind of fix was in. I felt like that they were definitely wanting to pick the best candidate.
That's awesome.
I can't.
People have asked, I'm going to make 2 statements. One, San Diego County Gun Owners, we've decided to not endorse any judges because we're afraid that if we get in front of a judge that we've endorsed, that might hurt our chances of getting in front of that judge. And the other statement I want to make is that Paul has been to a number of our meetings and talked to our members, our group. He's the only guy in his race that has done that. And we're very appreciative of that. And we've talked all about the AR-15 that he owns and what a great guy he is. And again, encourage you to check out his website. What's your website again, Paul?
StaritaforJudge.com.
So here's the deal, Paul. Gun Owners Radio's endorsing you. The heck with that San Diego County guys. They don't know what they're doing. But the radio show's on your side, sir.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, like I explained to people, I'm going to be a judge for everyone.
Right.
It's a big county, and there's a lot of different people, a lot of different groups, and you need a person who's, has that broad experience and background and is going to be fair. So I definitely appreciate the support.
And you'll never get a more experienced judge than a JAG lawyer, let me tell you. All right, buddy. Hey, have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you down the road, and good luck in the race.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Hey, this is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Gun Owners Radio with your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz. Visit gunownersradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor of the show. Time to get involved and get active. Together, we will win. Now here's Dave, Joe, and Michael on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks. Welcome back to FM 98.1. 98.1.
98.1?
98.1. That's my other.
Isn't that like slow jazz or something?
I know, it is. I like that song. FM 96.1 and AM 1170.
The Answer.
God, I messed that up terribly. Gun Owners Radio. It's been a long day. Been here since 10:30. Thank you very much. Hey, folks, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7. 365 days a year with a comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. Get a plan from U.S. Law Shield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. All right, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Germisi, our covert blogger. And what are you doing today, son?
That's right. I'm back from a week in Free America. So
you and your Free America.
It was beautiful out there. That was nice. I was out at a gun site in Paulden, Arizona, and
not to be confused
with Front Sight in Pahrump, Nevada. So both are training schools, and I'm real big on training, and I always suggest people do that. You really have to do that. If you're going to own a gun,
you can never get enough training.
No, and the thing that I always tell people to do is try to figure out how you can do a week-long course at least once a year. And and like for me, I mean, I save up for it all year. It takes about a year to save up, and and I try to get the gun sight once a year. The charity shoot at Front Sight is an outstanding deal, just a great way to get into it. And now, with Dr. Piazza's giving our listeners, the deal for a free class. I mean, that's a great way to discover it. But it's really worth doing. And I went out to Gun Sight this past week, or actually the week before, and took the intermediate pistol class. So they number their courses, more sort of like a college does, I guess. You've got the beginning pistol, I think it's the 250 class, and the intermediate's 350. And it's really worth doing. It was a lot of fun out there, and it was interesting if you were listening to the earlier segments with Dr. Piazza from Front Sight, talking about what the state was doing to them out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting in Arizona with Gun Sight, they're the same kind of thing. They're not as big as Front Sight is. The Gun Sight school out in Arizona is probably the oldest school in the country for training civilians in defensive weapon use, or defensive pistol, rifles, and shotguns. And they're I think they're like 45 years old, but they're a lot smaller than what you'll find at Front Sight. Like I think at Front Sight they were talking about 1,500 people or something like that in a week.
Yeah, about 1,000. They can go up to 2,000, but yeah.
Yeah, so see, at Gun Sight, we have 4 classes going. When there was a 5th class there, and there was probably about 200 people, something like that, so it's a little bit smaller. But just a lot of fun, and like I said, everybody should do that kind of stuff. In the 250 class, the first pistol class that they have there, very similar to what you'll find at Front Sight. The basic, they go through the the stance and the grip and clearing malfunctions, and you're on a square range, and you're doing pretty much the same kind of drills that you'll see at Front Sight. All very good stuff. No matter what your shooting level is, for the most part, if you spend, Front Sight, it's 4 days. At Gun Sight, they tend to be 5-day classes. But if you spend a week out there, you're gonna leave better than you were when you got there in terms of your capabilities and stuff with the handguns.
And that's the goal.
And yeah, and that's and I think everybody should make an effort to do that. And it's a lot of fun. That's the other part. Taking the intermediate class, they step it up a little bit, and we did a number of different things. Shooting and moving is something that I don't get to do that much, and even when shooting the matches every weekend, a lot of times you're shooting, then moving, then shooting, then moving. Whereas here they practice, okay, now what happens if you want to shoot while you're moving? And so you go through and do a little bit of that, which was fun. Shooting from different positions. I found out I could actually get down in a prone position and shoot with a handgun.
I was going to say, did you tuck and roll?
I was hesitant, to say the least, because I thought, okay, I can get down here.
Hear this big thud. Don't
know if I'm going to get back up. And it was actually the way they show you to do it. It was really pretty easy. The big surprise was something you wouldn't think about. You're laying there on the ground shooting, and after the first shot, you kick up a cloud of dust. And it's really difficult to see after that.
Well, it's a good thing you were wearing your mask.
Yeah, well, that's another good thing, too. Again, they addressed the COVID stuff, but they left the masks up to people. They said
you're outdoors, and I'm sure it was windy.
Well, we spent a little bit of time in the classroom, and then the rest of the time was outside. And like Dr. Piazza was saying, it's dangerous to do the social distancing stuff.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, you wish it was. Sort of like Cerakote.
Yeah, but, right. Don't start.
But the instructors have to be near you, and it's just like Front Sight. There's a team of 4 instructors we had 20 people in our group, and they left it up to people. They said you could wear a mask if you want. You don't have to wear one. There were, in our group of 20, I think there were 2 people that chose to wear masks. They had hand sanitizer around if you wanted it. They did check everybody's temperature every day, but everybody had a great time. It was, it's taking more of an adult approach to it, I think. But we did a lot of different things. They do a lot of simulator work, which is fun. We did some force on force stuff, which is a lot of fun. If you haven't been through a course where you go through and try to clear a building, it's very interesting. It gives you perspective, because something that they always say, and any instructor class will tell you this, it's something you don't want to do. There's no reason for you to try to clear a building. The only possible exception is if there was someone in your home and you had kids or a loved one or somebody somewhere else in the house that you had to get to them. But when you do it, they run you through once or twice where they'll have posters spread out around the building, and you've got to go through, and they show you how to open doors and go through doorways and go around things. Some of the posters are good guys, some are bad guys. So you've got to, hopefully not shoot the good guys.
Did you shoot them all?
Pretty much, yeah. I didn't get the good guys in there this time. I didn't kill a hostage. Did that on the outside simulators, but didn't do it on the inside simulators. And then on Thursday of the week, you get to do a force on force thing. So instead of posters in there, now they have real people in there with real simunitions, and they're shooting back at you.
Oh,
so they give you a scenario, and that was a lot of fun. I wish we could have done more of that. And they give you've got headgear and you've got a face mask and everything on. But
like paintball.
Yeah, they're smaller. They actually look like real bullets, except the cartridge.
I mean, is it when it hits you? Is it like a paintball?
It does. It stings, and it'll leave a big welt. Like I got one right here on my arm, and I'm old, so everything leaves a mark now.
Well, yeah,
but it stings a little bit, but it's a lot of fun to have somebody shooting back at you like that. Is interesting.
What is there a danger? So they had a couple of different levels of courses. Is there a danger of getting into a course that maybe is too advanced for you, or how do they advance? How do they? I'm always kind of worried about that.
How do they judge whether you should be in this course?
No, and again, similar to what they do at Front Sight, you have to at Gun Sight you have to take the 250 course first. No matter what your background is, no matter what your experience is, everybody goes through the 250 course first. So then, as long as you
and they're watching you.
Yeah, and as long as you pass that at a certain level, they have 4 different levels, sort of like what Front Sight does with their distinguished graduate and everything. And you've got to pass it with a marksman level, which isn't really too bad. You got to just be reasonably competent, and you can go on to the next ones. And the other classes, because now it starts breaking up into tactics. There's the 499 class that I could do next, which is a lot more probably of the same stuff we did here. But then they have a tactical concealed carry class where they talk about shooting in different positions, different situations, dealing with active shooter situations. And they do that kind of stuff. There's a lot of different things like that, different tactics classes. They do a 223 class where they incorporate that with a rifle. And so all that stuff is fun. I always encourage people to do it. And, try, Front Sight is great. Gun Sight is
what's their website?
Really good. So it's gunsightacademy.com. So you just type in Gun Sight, you'll see it.
All right, so let's take a quick break. And Joe has been so engaging. We're going to bring him back, and he's going to do a product review
some more
on the Core Essentials leather gun belt. You will not want to touch the dial. And don't forget, all our equipment is running. We're on Facebook Live. You can go to SDCGO.org to find us, or just click on Facebook, and you'll see us on there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Welcome back to Gun Owners Radio, educating you on your Second Amendment right. Now, here are your hosts of Gun Owners Radio, Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks, welcome back to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
This is the Eddie Halen Tribute Show. And PRMI Mortgage is the sponsor of this segment. Go to primeres.com/Alpine because mortgage interest rates have dropped. And if you're looking to buy, refi, or maybe you're just considering a reverse mortgage, give our boy a call. He is our local mortgage guy. That'd be Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/Alpine. All right, the man with the belt. Core Essentials leather gun belt. What makes that stand out?
Okay, so if people are new to concealed carry and stuff like that, one of the things you really want to get is a for real decent gun belt, to where it makes a world of difference. If you're doing this with your Sears belt, you're just not going to be happy. So you want to find a real gun belt. So what we have here today is from Core Industries, and let me get it out of the box here. So what we have here is their I'll put this here. How's that? So what we have here is the Core. It's their X1 gunmetal gun belt. And what's nice about this, when I first looked at this, I thought, wow, it's going to be kind of light. I wasn't sure if it was going to give me the support and do the kind of stuff that you want from a gun belt. And I tried it out for a while, and it actually is. It's very solid.
Better than you expected.
It's deceptive because, and typically what I do, I'm wearing jeans all the time now. So I wear kind of a heavier leather belt. This is perfect if you're still in that mode where you've got to dress business casual and stuff. This is a nice kind of dressy belt. It's made out of 2 solid pieces of leather. So 2 strips that they sew together. And it really is, if you feel it, it really is a lot more significant than I thought it was going to be when I tried it out. It's a comfortable belt. They send it to you. I don't know if you could see on the back. It's hard to see here. On the back here, they kind of measure it out. So what you do is you measure this thing to your specific size,
and then cut it.
And yeah, this button, I don't want to flip it up too much because it when it grips in there, it grabs the belt. So I don't want to take it off and put it back. I could do that, I guess. No. So if you flip this back up here, you could take the buckle off. So what you would do is you would cut it to size here. So cut it to wherever you need it. Slide the buckle on, and then it kind of locks on. And the way the buckle works, which is nice. If you could see the back here, it's kind of ratcheted, which is nicer here. So when this slips in, you kind of slip it in. I don't know if you could see it this way.
Yeah, you're doing
so
good.
If you slip it into the belt like that, and you can hear that click. So you could get this to pretty much exactly your size that you want. You're not dealing with like inch long or inch wide holes or something like that. Sometimes you get, between the size that really would be perfect. With this one,
or sometimes after dinner, you might need a different size belt.
That's right.
You have to get the wife to come over to pull the latch up so the belt will come in.
Well, that's the other thing too, that you get rid of the latch, or you release the latch by, there's a little lever down here. And I did find out if there's too much pressure on it, you gotta work with it to release it. So this could be, you might want to do this before you wait too long after dinner. But just releases like that. So really nice belt. It's rated for 4 pounds, which I was thinking, okay, what does that mean exactly? And how does my gun work? Because with me, I carry a Glock 19, and had to do a little research, but mine fully loaded is just under 2 pounds. So this, they say, will work with, up to 4 pounds of load. So that should pretty much work with a full-size gun, I would think, unless you have a really big, revolver-type gun or something like that. This should work just fine with most concealed carry guns. And that's what it is. It's a concealed carry belt.
Yeah.
It's a little bit less expensive than some of the others. It's $59.95, which is a pretty good deal, actually. For this kind of belt, it's a nice, solid gun belt. $59 is not bad at all. And here, I'll pass it down to you.
Do they come in multiple colors?
They do. I saw black and a couple of different shades of brown. So they had that. They warranty the thing for a year. There's a 30-day return policy, so you could turn it back to them if for some reason you don't like it or something like that. But like I said, I wore it for a little bit, and it works fine with my holsters.
So what's the biggest thing? What's the biggest thing you noticed when you switched over to a legit gun belt?
With just the belt or the gun, everything seems to stay up. I noticed with the other belt, it would sag on that side, and it would kind of come out a little bit. Like with this belt and with my other gun belts, if you tighten that thing up, it pulls the holster in, it pulls the gun in, and everything rides just the way it's supposed to ride.
Yeah.
With cheaper belts, and I used to have, I had other leather belts, and I always thought they were fine, but they're not gun belts. And there's a definite difference because I know you did that, right?
Yeah,
you discovered that?
yeah. The structure that comes with these gun belts, I found that when I was just wearing, I had a pretty heavy leather belt, pretty thick, heavy leather belt before I switched to a gun belt. And I still was kind of messing with my gun. I'd get out of the car and you had to kind of have to adjusting. And, there's a little bit of that, but a little bit's too much. The gun belt makes a world of difference. It just stays put.
I had a gun belt myself, and the reason I wanted to look at it is the release mechanism, which is that little lever. The one I had, you just lifted up the front of the belt and it came out.
Yeah, like the old kind of military style.
Well, it broke.
Used to do that.
It broke, and I've never put a gun on it, and it broke. And looking at that compared to that, the difference is night and day. And my point is, if you're going to go out and buy a gun belt, you want to buy a gun belt that's designed for what you want it to do. And with a 1-year warranty, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and this is pretty significant. I'll go ahead and pop this off. But if you pull this lever up.
No, you can't do it. It never works because it's already.
So I'm showing people, right?
Well, of course.
So it slides off, and you can see this buckle. This buckle is pretty significant. Yeah, it's a nice buckle.
Right.
And they have other buckles on the core industry site. And so you could interchange these things. This is an 1.5 inches wide. They had an 1 3/4 wide belt as well. Some people like a wider belt.
Right.
They also have a lot of different ones. Again, we have this leather one we're trying out. They have web type belts. They've got different sizes, different colors. So really quite a variety here. And they've got their classic belts. And then this one came out of the other group, the everyday carry stuff. So the EDC belts. But like I said, I was kind of surprised because it feels like a nice lightweight belt. And again, if you're stuck in that business casual mode, this is a great belt. This will work really well for that kind of stuff. So we had that. And the website here is Core Essentials, so coreessentials.com. And again, it looks like they had quite a few things on there. But I was really surprised, though. Like I said, when I first looked at it, I thought, this is going to be light. And tried it out. And they have their patented, what do they call it? Their core core technology here that they've, they don't tell you what it is exactly. So it doesn't feel like it's a metal core because some belts have a metal core on the inside.
Yeah, it didn't
stiffen them up.
I was messing with it. It didn't feel like it's like hardcore steel.
No, and that's what
it feels like a regular a dress belt.
Yeah.
It does, which, again, I wore it for a little while, but I mean, if you had to wear this all day long, it'd probably be really comfortable. And again, like I said, it's a nice looking belt. If you've got it dressed that way, it's
Did you have to cut it yourself? How easy was it to cut?
It was funny because I did not have to cut it.
Because that's a pretty straight cut.
Because it works perfectly for me right at the end here. But yeah, if I'm assuming, how hard could it be? It's leather.
Doesn't it have metal in the middle?
No, this one does not. I'm not sure what their core technology is. You can kind of see it. To me, everything is blurry. No, I used it just at the length it came.
I'll tell you, CCWs,
there's a membrane in there, and it's pretty beefy.
And it's not metal, though. It doesn't seem like it's metal.
If you're listening and you want your man to stop drinking so much and start dressing better, get him a CCW because
that'll do it.
Yeah, you can't drink while you're carrying, and then you got to start wearing real clothes.
Okay,
better belts.
So here's the question: looking at this, are there different lengths?
There's two general lengths that they send you. It's either and I can't remember the sizes now.
Say 38 and 42.
Yeah, there's it's a whole range, and like if you're above 44 to 57 or something, they'll send you one length.
Well, the reason I say it, because where it's been cut, it's been double stitched. So if you were to cut, you may have a fray. So be careful when you're ordering your belt that it fits you.
Well, yeah.
Then that way you don't have to cut it.
Well, and again, too, the measure once, cut twice. Because if you look on the back of that, you'll see they've measured it out, so you could see. You'll see 34, 33, 32.
Yeah. But I just can't see you doing that.
So you want. Well, you want to cut it down. The other thing, too, if you see, because you can probably see on here where this thing grabbed, Because what you'll do is you put this belt back on, you flip this tab over, and those teeth bite into this.
But you still got the stitching as an added reinforcement.
If you don't have to cut it at all.
So can you call them before you order the belt and say, hey, I'm a 38? And would they cut it and stitch it, you think?
That's a good question. I didn't try to do that because it seems like they come with two general lengths, basically. So it's either small or not.
Gotcha.
So,
but I bet if you called them up and said, hey, because then have them put that extra stitch in there so you'll never, ever have to worry about it.
Yeah, and you could. But even if you did cut it, because you could see, like I said, where that grabs down in here, even if it did fray here, that would be inside the buckle.
True.
So you wouldn't see it anyway.
Yeah. But, nice belt. And for how much?
This is $59.95. And
wait a minute, we got a special.
We do.
Gun Owners special. Tell them about it.
So that's right. So their website is coreessentials.com.
That's Kore.
Yes, it is. And if you go to the website and you order anything from them, if you use the coupon code GunOwnersRadio10, you'll get 10% off of
anything they
whatever
sell.
you're buying. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's what we have here.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great product.
Yeah, it really is nice. Like I said, when I first looked at it, I thought, oh, that's going to be light.
Put your little clipper back on.
Really surprised. I get it all back.
Well, one of the things Mike talked about, almost one of the very first shows we ever did, was how disappointed he was trying to find a decent belt.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why I would know that. Why do I know that?
Right. Well, it is. It's important. Like I said, if you're going to be lugging around 2.5...
Because once you got a comfortable belt, you were in big heaven. You loved it.
Once you're going to be lugging around 2.5 pounds of metal on your belt.
Yeah, you want to be comfortable.
There you go. And, Glock 19,
you get under 2 pounds with a 19.
Or 2 pounds. 2 pounds.
Under 2 pounds.
Whatever it is.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. This is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
There's more Gun Owners Radio with Dave, Joe, and Michael to come on The Answer San Diego.
Folks, welcome back. This is Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Well, thousands of new gun owners just found out what San Diego gun owners already knew. A.O. Sword Firearms in El Cajon has the widest selection of guns in the county. Hundreds of new and used guns in stock and everything you could want on an AR-15. A.O. Sword is also a professional gunsmith with a full machine shop for cleaning, repairs, upgrades, customization, and Cerakote. Check out A.O. Sword on Facebook or on aosword.com. All right, normally David would call in, but he seems to be busy, as you can imagine he would be. So we are going to talk a little bit about San Diego County Gun Owners voter guide and go into it a little bit in depth because I was asking questions off air. I commented to Michael that it seemed a little incomplete, and he explained to me why it's incomplete. So if you're looking for a supervisor, school board, or somebody in your area and it's not on the guide, the reason is. So let's start with, first off, there are people listening from Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, and San Diego. So if you go to the website. And does it apply to them as well?
Well, if you go to the website, everybody's got their own. So San Bernardino has their own, Riverside has their own, Orange and has their own, and then San Diego has their own. If you go to the website, it's going to be right on the homepage, or if you just add / voter guide.
I found it. Anybody can find it.
If Dave found it, anybody can find it.
That's right.
So everybody has their own in the county. So a couple things about the voter guide in each county. First off, we don't endorse on the federal level. We don't endorse on state level races.
Okay.
So federal level, why don't we endorse on federal level? Well, because NRA already does that, and so does Gun Owners of America. We're not going to do anything better than they do. They do a fantastic job of vetting the candidates.
See, now I didn't know that. I need to go to NRA
or GOA, Gun Owners of America. Either one of them. Okay. They're going to be fantastic. we don't endorse on the state level because CRPA, California Rifle and Pistol Association, does that. Gun Owners of California does that already, and we're not going to do anything better than they're doing. Right. They vet out candidates, and state level races being the assembly, the governor, state senate. But what nobody's doing, what they weren't doing, and they still aren't doing, is they're not vetting out and endorsing candidates right here in your backyard. So city council, school board, sheriff, county board, all these local boards and councils that make a huge impact on your life. They, with their regulations and we're seeing that firsthand with COVID. They get to decide who opens and who closes, and they almost shut down gun shops, but there was a fight, and gun shops got to stay open. Went all the way up to Trump. Trump actually had to step in eventually, but it was definitely a fist fight, figuratively, before that happened. So your question to me was, hey, how come not every single
person running?
Yeah, person running. How come? Because it's a list of endorsed candidates, and it's not a rating system.
Gotcha. So
we reach out to everybody that we possibly can. School board, city council. Of course, Alpine doesn't have a city council.
Right.
They have their county board, which is the endorsed candidates Joel Anderson. But they have school boards, water board, fire board, all kinds of different boards and councils. So we reach out to as many people as we possibly can.
That are running.
Yep. And the first step is our questionnaire. We send out the questionnaire and say, hey, fill out our online questionnaire. It's got, a dozen questions on it. And from there, that's the first step. That's not the only step. So from there, we can get a better idea. Okay, does this person know what they're talking about and they're on our side? Are they not on our side? Or occasionally we'll get somebody who, doesn't really seem to know what they're talking about. They want to be on our side, and that is an education opportunity.
Gotcha.
We want to get a hold of that person, educate them,
and then see where they're at.
Steer them in the right direction.
Okay, so let me ask. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and that's a good service or a good thing that we provide too locally, because a lot of times you know a lot about the federal, at the national level, about the candidates at the state level, but all these people that are on the ballot that are local, that, like Michael was saying, really do impact your life in a day-to-day thing. A lot of times you see these names, you see these lawn signs, but okay, who is that? Well, you don't know anything about it. Well, so this is a good help, I think, with that.
We're getting inundated with mailers, and there's quite a few. There's the police, list of who they endorse.
Yep.
And then there's California GOP, which is, how can you,
so why wouldn't you just vote for the Republican, right?
Well,
if you're worried about Second Amendment issues, why not just vote for the Republican?
Because I don't trust it.
Exactly. If you look at Chula Vista, John McCann, he'll tell you right to your face that he's a good old red meat eating American gun loving Second Amendment Republican.
And then he stabs you.
Then he stabs us in the back, and he votes for a gun ban. So we have to leave partisanship. If you're a gun guy, if you're a partisan, if you're just simply a Republican and you're happy with the red flag, and you're just a Republican, fine. Be a Republican.
But if you're not,
but if you're worried about gun rights, if you're worried about the Second Amendment, our advice is, okay, so why don't we weigh in on every race? Because when we send out our questionnaire, a lot of people don't respond, and we try to get them to respond. A lot of people don't. There's a lot of reasons they may not respond. One is they don't like guns. Two is they're just not too sure. Or three is
they don't want to be on the record.
Yeah, they don't want to be on the record. Yeah. They're not going to. And if you think if they're not going to answer a questionnaire when they're campaigning, you really think they're going to stand up for you when they're in office? No. So if you can't answer a questionnaire, if you can't state, well, here's where I stand on a couple of different gun issues, you're not our friend. Okay. You're not going to stand up for us.
Yeah, because I just don't trust those mailers, because the way they're written, especially, and I'm not saying anything negative one way or the other, but like the one that's endorsed by the police, even that caused me to pause. Because I'm reading the people that they're endorsing, and I don't know whether or not.
Law enforcement unions have really fooled people for years. They really there's one reason a law enforcement union, is going to endorse somebody, and that's to get police officers more pay.
Right. It's got to do. Yeah.
That's it. You're not going to be safer in your community. That's all it is.
That's why I circle filed that one.
And it's, they're not going to stand up for your Second Amendment rights. They didn't help you get CCWs.
Okay. So
in fact, they were in some cases against it.
So let's go one step farther. Okay. So I don't trust this guy. I don't trust the. What do I do? Where do you really, truly? And you don't, that stupid book. I'm not reading that thing. It's just too big.
So my advice is this, and I've talked about it in every election. I believe that you should vote for. If you can't find a source, a Second Amendment source that has endorsed a candidate, leave it blank. Leave it blank. People feel obligated when they go in there. They feel obligated. I have to vote for, A or B. I have to. No, you don't. Leave it blank. And one of the big reasons I say that is because for years, consultants have told candidates, hey, just ignore gun owners. You're a Republican. They're going to vote for you. Just,
really?
They totally take them for granted. They're going to vote for you. What are they going to do? Are they going to vote for the Democrat?
Don't worry about it.
And that system that's been set up, is no benefit to gun owners over the last 20 years.
You're right. I'm sitting there like, God, I got to feel something. I mean, I got to pick one of these.
So if you look back over the last 20, 25 years and you think to yourself, wow, look at all these horrible gun laws. And then you look at your ballot and go, well, I'm going to continue to do the same thing I've been doing, vote for Republicans because they're –
and that's probably your problem.
Nothing's going to change. So start make those Republicans earn your vote. If the NRA hasn't endorsed them, if the CRPA hasn't endorsed them, if we haven't endorsed them on the county level, get out of there.
When in doubt,
leave it blank. And then call them and say, hey, I wanted to let you know, you're running for school board. I didn't vote for you because – San Diego County Gun Owners didn't endorse you. Orange County Gun Owners didn't endorse you. Or, hey, you're running for Congress. NRA didn't endorse you, so I'm not voting for you.
Right.
Now I recognize that a lot of people, there are a lot of different issues out there that matter to people. I totally get that. But I could make the case all day that it is tougher to be a gun owner in California than anything else. It's tougher to be a gun owner in California than a homeowner or a taxpayer or to be pro-life or pro-choice or pro-pot. It's tough. So we have got to start moving this up the priority list.
Right.
It's always everybody's third or fourth. Well, let's see where they, there's always the issue du jour, every election cycle, maybe it's immigration or maybe it's foreign policy or whatever. And your gun rights are always number 5, number 6, number 7.
Nobody wants to address it.
Which means they don't matter.
Right.
They don't matter. Yeah. So until you start saying, hey, look, this matters to me. It's my number one issue. It's the only way I vote. Nothing is going to change.
Well, and the other thing, too, that you always point out is a lot of these politicians, once they get up to the state level where they create all these bad laws, they started out on school boards, on city councils. So, by paying attention how you vote locally, you could knock one of these people out before they even get going up there and avoid the whole problem.
Because they don't change their colors.
Nope.
No, not
Once
usually.
they start, they may to your face say, oh, no, I'm all for Second Amendment. But the minute they vote against it, that's a red flag.
Yeah, and it's... and I know everybody, a lot of people are listening and they think, well, gee, what can we do? We're in California. We're outnumbered. Oh, my gosh, we're never going to be able to do anything right, and everything's always going to go wrong. 35, maybe 40% of people who can vote do. And all you have to do is get enough people to show up to beat them by one vote. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we have to get an entire district to change, not every single voter.
Right.
So help the folks out that we endorse. Check out our endorsement list. Check out the NRA and Gun Owners of America. Check out CRPA and Gun Owners of California. And vote for people that are endorsed by Second Amendment organizations, or don't vote for them at all. Leave it blank. And then call and let them know.
All right. Well, I guess I just vote for Trump, and that's the end of it.
Trump, yeah, he's like the only guy. His first day in elected office was president.
Yeah.
So he didn't start. He's the only guy. He's the exception to the rule. He didn't start on a city council.
He is the only guy. He nobody grew him.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
You're listening to Gun Owners Radio on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. And don't forget, it is thanks to our sponsors that we get to broadcast and bring you the best Second Amendment content in the nation. So please, right now, check out the website of Attorney John Dillon, U.S. Law Shield, Firearms Legal Protection, AO Sword, and in El Cajon, that is, PRMI Mortgage, Firearm Policy Coalition, and get yourself a Cali key. Need to find out more info on our sponsors? Go to gunownersradio.com. All right, my friend.
Little Eruption by Van Halen.
Yeah, I know. It actually distracted me.
I saw before we get into our segment here, I saw a really cool YouTube video where some father, I think he's probably about my age, probably in his 40s, he's got a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and he put them in front of the computer, and he showed them video of Eddie playing Eruption, which is what that just was, this like 10-minute solo. And watching these kids,
their eyes,
they just went crazy. They were like, "Oh my God!" They didn't even know what was happening. Like, how is he making those noises? And the funny thing is, that was everybody. That was the entire nation back in the early '80s when he came out with this. It was everybody's reaction. Like, what is he doing? How is he doing it? So
I told you real quick.
I heard a weird rumor about how he did it, but I don't know if it's true or not, where he cut in between his fingers to reach some of the chords on the solo. But I don't know if that's true.
My Come on. Goodness. Who is this guy?
Well, that's just, but you know what? I had a friend of mine went over to his house. He played his guitar. It was okay. Yeah. Another guy came over, picked up the same guitar, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he said, "Is that a different guitar?"
Yeah.
Because I think that, you've played instruments before.
Yep. Yeah, he's amazing. I got to tell you, I could do a whole hour show on Eddie Van Halen. He truly was a treasure.
He should not be gone.
It was almost, he became so good that he became cliche, and people forgot why he was so special. Yeah. I mean, when you're on a movie with Bill and Ted, people forgot how truly special he was. All right, enough about that.
Hey, Sam, how's it going? Are you a Van Halen fan?
Yeah, I mean, he's a little before my time, but I can't deny his incredible talent.
Unbelievable talent. The guy, he's like got little electric motors in his fingers. So we got a good one for you. Get ready.
We do have a good one. You ready, man?
Uh-oh, I hope so.
All right, cool. This is our most popular segment. People send in questions, gun-related questions, gun trivia questions, and we ask my nephew here, Sam, the question, and more often than not, he gets them right. But if you stump my nephew, you get a shirt and a hat. If you send us a question and we use it on the air, you'll get the shirt. But if you stump him, we'll throw in a hat just for you. Ooh. Ah. All right, here's the question. This comes from Mara in Chula Vista. She wants to know, from which country are the most shotguns imported into the United States? So from which country are the most shotguns imported into the United States?
From which country are the most shotguns imported into the United States? Now, working in a gun store, my inclination is immediately to say Turkey, because I know that there are a huge number of those coming in right now. There are a few Turkish factories making pump action and especially semi-auto AR-style shotguns that are seemingly very popular for their price point, and they're sold under a variety of different names. But then also part of me realizes that some Mossberg parts are made in Mexico, so I don't know if that counts. But and then, of course, there are some still coming in from China. But really, my inclination is to say probably Turkey.
That's ridiculous. So the big three are Brazil, Germany, and Turkey. But number one out of the big three, with approximately, it's about 441,000 shotguns. It's Turkey. Comes from Turkey.
Correct!
So Mossberg and Remington account for about 95% of the shotguns bought in the U.S., about 900,000. Okay, so for extra credit, I got an extra credit question, which should be, this is a softball right over the center of the plate, Sam. Okay? So from what country are the most handguns imported?
From what country are the most handguns imported?
Yeah. So the most of the shotguns that are imported in the United States come from Turkey. What country do most of the handguns that are imported into the United States come from?
There's a lot of handguns out there.
I don't know. I kind of want to say Austria or Germany because of how much handgun manufacturing they have there, but it's probably going to be something like Brazil, isn't it?
No. We go to pick one. I'm giving it away here. Go ahead, pick one.
In other words, you picked it. You just didn't put it in the right sequence.
Okay, I'm going to say Austria.
It's Austria because of Glock.
Is that where Glocks are made?
Yeah, because of Glock, Austria.
There is there too, but yeah, it's because of Glock.
It's by far. This question came in, we looked it up, but by far the most amount of handguns imported to the United States.
Why is that?
Because Glock is so popular.
Well, I know, but why is it made in Austria?
That's where Gaston Glock, the inventor, was from.
Oh, yeah, once upon a time, there was a middle-aged man who had made his fortune by making plastic lawn chairs, and he heard that the Austrian army was looking for a pistol to replace their old World War II-era P-38s, so he got some engineers together and had them design what ended up being the perfect pistol. And you know it's perfect because they're on the 5th generation of it.
Biting social commentary from.
Hey, I own a Glock. They're great.
No, I love Glocks. That's what I have. But to go back to Sam's other answer, though, Sam, do you know why? I'm just curious here. The Turkey is such a big source of shotguns because you would think. I mean, shotguns sound like an American kind of gun. You know, it's interesting that a lot of it comes from Turkey now. Do you have any idea why that is?
Well, I don't think there's any really one reason, but Turkey has a very long history of producing shotguns, and they were renowned for a long time for producing very high-quality shotguns.
Like pre-United States.
Use like in Europe especially.
Yeah.
But like I said, right now, a lot of at least just what seems to be popular based on my observations are the sort of AR-style box magazine-fed shotguns.
So a lot of countries that ban guns don't ban like over-under shotguns or double barrel.
Yeah, it depends on the country. Each country's gun laws are different, but just to name Russia as an example, you can own a shotgun. You can buy a shotgun immediately after getting your proper permitting and licensing, but you can't buy a rifle until something like 10 years after having owned a shotgun.
So when they're talking about, Turkey's been making double barrel shotguns for, 400 years.
Which is what I was looking for. And I was looking at the CZ, one of the CZ double barrel shotguns, and it was from Turkey.
Made in Turkey. A lot of, I think the Springfield XDs are from Turkey too. I mean, that's a handgun.
No, those are from Croatia, actually.
Or Croatia. I knew some goofy country over there. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting. Sam was talking about the more AR style shotguns, and I was just looking in. I had a copy of Guns magazine here that I was looking through today, and they have that Kel-Tec bullpup thing, the thing with the 3 magazines, which I could have chosen as my the thing that I won at the charity event. And instead, I kind of looked at that and said, hey, it's just not me. I'm not going to shoot that.
Did you win?
I did, but I selected the little Winchester 1300 instead. But that bullpup.
The KSG? You're talking about the KSG it's got 2 ammo tubes.
No, it's got the one I had was 3, and I think that's what the Kel-Tec one is. But Sam will straighten this out.
The Kel-Tec has 2 magazine tubes and a barrel over that.
Okay, so that was a different one then, because the one we had there had 3 tubes. And they rotated?
At 3, could it have been IWI and not Kel-Tec? Because that one has 4.
Could have been. Is that like a $1,200 gun? Is that about the range there?
Say again?
Is that about a $1,200 gun?
Yeah, the IWI TS-12.
Yeah, and that's what they were talking about. So yeah, that was.
I think you made the right choice because I don't think that's California legal with the rotating. So you probably made the right choice there.
Well, they were saying it is because David Chong was one of the guys. I think he donated that.
He knows.
And we said it was California legal because each magazine is only 5 rounds. So it's technically okay.
Well, I love my Kel-Tec. It's the only gun I keep talking about this Kel-Tec that I love so much, but I absolutely love it. But to answer your question, the reason Turkey, because I looked that up too. I was actually on the phone with Rich at the time. And we were both kind of wondering, but they've just been in the game for so long, and they've been making double barrel and over under shotguns for everybody, Europe and Australia.
So
and
they tend to make them for other companies, or they're big Turkish name brands that you see out there?
I saw a list of like 10 brands, 10 Turkish shotgun manufacturers I'd never heard of. So, I'm not really big into like high quality over unders and that sort of thing. I'm just not not my area. But
all right, Sam. Hey, great job as usual. Thank you very much, and have a great next week. And we will talk to you next week.
Thanks very much. You too. You guys stay safe out there.
You got it, buddy. Hey, folks, if you're listening on Facebook, YouTube, or on a podcast, make sure you hit like and subscribe. And please support all our great sponsors. Make sure you tell them that you heard it right here on KCBQ. Firearms Legal Protection, San Diego County Gun Owners, U.S. Law Shield, Cali Key, PRMI Mortgage, the Dillon Law Group, A.O. Sword Firearms, and Firearms Policy Coalition. Just go to gunownersradio.com to find out how to get a hold of our sponsors. And I want to thank Michael Schwartz, Joe Germisi, Sam the Gunman, and our digital master, Brendan Thomas. And, of course, we have Rich, our computer guru, sitting in the house. All right, we're going to take off. It's been a wonderful day. We'll definitely talk to you next week. And remember, vote, vote, vote in person.
Gun Owners Radio, fighting to preserve and restore your Second Amendment right. Learn more about Gun Owners Radio and how to become a guest or sponsor by visiting gunownersradio.com. Join Dave Stahl, Joe Germisi, and Michael Schwartz every week at this same time as they talk guns and Second Amendment rights. Have fun while staying informed and getting involved. This has been Gun Owners Radio on The Answer San Diego. This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.